So today we're live from the basement. If that's a cool way to say it, it might be an awkward way to say it, but I think it's kind of like the basement sessions. Did your training this morning, did our podcast now. The upstairs bathroom is being completely ripped apart. So if we were in my normal spot, you wouldn't even be hearing me today, Adam. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're here. And we're going to be talking in today's podcast about the best ways to close the year strong and some of the worst mistakes I've seen agents make in these final 8 weeks of a year. How's that sound for today?
Works for me.
So I remember back in 2019, I'm going to kind of tell a quick little story here. And I thought to myself an idea that seemed to make sense. And I thought if I can write, let's just say 20,000, the moment I write that 20,000, I can be finished for the rest of the year. I set an achievable goal. It was based on my budget. I knew I had the savings in place, and I knew I wanted to be able to enjoy Christmas, New Year's, and all that stuff in between. So I did that. I wrote 20,000, I don't know, 19 days, and then I took off. And then what happened is when I removed the guardrails of my career, the structure that I established, everything around, everything else got to be a lot messier. And I found out something. I found out as we talk about the best way to end the year and the biggest mistakes agents make is taking some time off is good, but too much time off can almost be deadly in business. Thoughts on that?
I agree. You could really go from being in a hot streak to nothing real quick, and I've seen it. I mean, it's happened to me where it's almost like when you're on a roll and you're doing well, the last thing you want to do is think about stopping, and we get tired. It's a stressful business. I think taking a little bit of time off is okay, but I don't want to take off when things are going really well. We don't know what's going to happen. We talked about this, a few episodes back. I think just kind of talking about too, what not really knowing what the future's to bring and things like that. But we want to, when things are going well, you just kind of want to build off of that, if anything, and just kind of keep going. Don't change anything. And whatever you're doing that's working, keep doing that. If it's not broken, there's no reason to try and fix it.
And if it isn't working, ironically, those are probably the times where you need to keep going even more. Probably double down on whatever you're doing if you're following a proven system, because that's the time the business is trying to see if you're really ready to move forward or if it really isn't a good fit. I also wrote down, to help close the year strong, several micro manageable tips that agents might be able to follow so that they take full advantage of these final 57 days, these final 8 weeks. What do you think about getting some of your thoughts on some of these tips?
Most definitely. Let's do it.
So the first one I have written down here is time blocking. I think a lot of agents could do a lot more if they were more organized with their time, what they're trying to do, what they're not going to do, doing the hard things first. Talk to me about time management and time blocking on these final 8 weeks of the year.
I think that time blocking is very important. I think that even if you don't have appointments set, you can always put your day together. And for me, I mean, time blocking works the best for me on days that I'm not out in the field. When I'm in the office, the day can get away from you very quickly. And I like today. Today is a Monday. I have my trainings every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Central. They usually go for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then after that, I mean, I have at least a good probably 5 or 6 hours to get other things accomplished. But I don't get nearly as much accomplished if I don't have it down on my calendar. I'll even block my calendar maybe in 30-minute increments, 60-minute, really depending on how long each task that I have is going to take. But I'm going to put it on my calendar. And it's going to keep me on track with my day of what I have going on. And when I don't do that, I definitely am a lot less productive.
I also think it's important that we realize, or we teach, or we advertise that you can't do everything in a day. If you're really working hard, there's going to be things that you get done today, our medium range projects, our long range projects, just like in corporate America, but you can't get everything done today. But you're going to get nothing done if you don't have a plan of action and what you're actually going to work on. So don't think you have to do everything today, but have an idea what you want to do today, or otherwise nothing's going to get done.
Well, the most important part is getting started. if you don't get started, you're never going to get it accomplished. And we can talk so much about what we want to get done, but we need to kind of look at it more in the present tense. Like I'm going to be getting this done now, or I'm going to start this today, rather than just talking about the future. You got to kind of focus on at least getting it started. Once you get started with something, at least for me, I know at some point I'm going to get it finished. And I think I am kind of guilty of trying to get too much done in a day, where at the end of the day, I almost don't feel like I got nearly as much accomplished, even though I probably did. But again, yeah, right now there's so many different things that I want to get accomplished, get done. I mean, I just have a list of probably over 100 things. And, we always say, I wish there was just a little bit more time in the day to get all this done. But I think by time blocking and kind of breaking it down into those increments, you're going to at least kind of get those tasks started, and you're going to be on track to get more accomplished.
I think the first thing I ask an agent when an agent tells me that they're struggling is, what did you do with your day? What did you do at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6? And show me, what did you do yesterday and what you did today? And then we can figure out probably right from there what the real problem is. Because it's typically, when it comes to personal production, an activity related issue, not necessarily a technique related problem. Thoughts on that?
I agree. I think that, when we have appointments set and have that structure, it makes it very easy to get up and get out and go out and see people. I've always said I'm much more productive in my day when I have that 9 a.m. appointment set, because it's getting me up, it's getting me out of bed, it's getting me out to go see people. And I think that, at least in our business, in the insurance business, a lot of agents, they don't want to go out and work unless they have that appointment set. A lot of them don't want to door knock leads. They just want to work those set appointments. And unfortunately, there's days that you're just not going to have a whole lot set. I've run into that the last few months, honestly, where it's my own fault. I got away from working direct mail leads, kind of started working more with the Facebook leads, and just having a heck of a time with my appointment setter, not having a lot of luck getting a hold of people, really not having a whole lot of appointments set. I have to arrange my day a little bit differently. But with that, I have agents that are also working the same sort of leads. And it's like, I'm getting things done, I'm getting things accomplished, I'm putting the time in, I'm doing a lot of driving. But then when I have agents that call me, I almost wonder, are they working as hard as I am out in the field? Are they willing to do the kind of driving that I'm doing without having that set appointment? If they're struggling, the answer more than likely is probably that no, they're not. And so from there, it's just a matter of them figuring out, well, what can I do to get better? If I don't have those set appointments, I either need to be willing to get out there and go see people, or try a different type of lead. So much of this business, I just think, comes back to the work ethic. And if it's working for me, there's no reason it shouldn't work for somebody else. But they have to have that that willingness and that drive to get out there and do it. I can't call them every single morning and wake them up and try to get them out of bed. I can't push them out into their car to leave. They have to have that in them to be willing to get out there and do it.
Yeah, I always have a list of folks, especially on a Monday morning, where I kind of send a mini motivational text to. Maybe it's a recruit I have on the list. Maybe it's someone I know that had a bad week. Maybe it's someone I know that had a good week. So I kind of like send them a "I'm thinking about you" kind of text, something I learned from my original organization as a valuable technique for people to realize that they're valued, they're recognized, and this week is a new opportunity. But I think that's the perfect segue into recognizing you can't do it for them. You can't dress it for them. You can't close it for them. They got to leave their home and get the rest worked out themselves. And then it comes into communication. One of the things I wrote down in how to close this year strong is good communication with your whoever you cohabitate with. If you don't have your family on your side, if you don't have your significant other on your team, it's not going to work. And I think a reason why a lot of people don't have their family on their side, don't have their spouse on their team, is they didn't explain to them what you're doing, what your job is, how it's done, and what you're trying to accomplish with that. So, talk to us a little bit about the value of communicating with your spouse, your significant other, the family, the people you cohabitate with, and how that can help or hurt you in your business.
Well, I think it maybe takes a while. I've been married now for over 10 years, been with my wife for what, 13? So, I mean, she kind of got to learn my schedule and kind of see what the day looks like. I mean, things changed for a while where I was more in the office. I'd say probably, well, the last 6 years prior to this year, I was in the office a heck of a lot more. So, had to make a lot more adjustments when I went independent and kind of got getting back to get out in the field and working. And I tried to do some telesales stuff to stay home. Didn't work out. Just I'm better out in the field. So I needed to get back out in the field. And I told my wife, she understands, I got to go out and make money. So, I mean, she understands, this is what my schedule is going to be. Unfortunately, you can't depend on me a whole lot those 3 days that I'm out in the field. I wish I could be around more to help, but I got to get out there and work. I can't cut off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I need to be able to stay out until I get done everything that I need to get done. So, I mean, she's been great about that. She knows that I'm out working. She knows I leave the house sometimes before 9 o'clock, and that sometimes I might not get home until 7 or 8 or even 9 o'clock at night. So I think it's great to have people on your side that understand the business and that are willing to do maybe a little bit extra for you so you can achieve what you need to achieve and get done for the day to be successful.
I think it's interesting perspective that we can provide because the channel, the podcast, the content just isn't all rote sales tips. It isn't just all final expense this or Medicare that. There's a whole in-between portion that we wanted to differentiate ourselves with our content versus all the other crap that's out there. And having your family on your side and on your team and talking about this is exactly that everything in between kind of topic. I remember been in a relationship about 3 years with my girlfriend. The first time she asked, what do you do and how does it work? And you know what I said, Adam? I said, it's too complicated. I can't possibly explain this to you. Don't even worry about it. And you know what happened? Is it didn't make sense and she didn't understand and she did worry about it because if somebody actually cares about you when they're in a relationship with you, they want to understand what you do. And then when I explained it and I took the time to have her understand what it was and how it worked, then she was supportive of it and understood it. And if on a Sunday night I said, I got to stop what we're doing and turn off the movie and go dial for appointments because the appointment setter didn't answer, she understood it. When I say, even now to this day, her entire family understands that 9 a.m. to 9:30, I'm not available. We could be at the beach. We could be in Disney World. We could be in Puerto Rico. That time is morning call time. The time before it is prep time. The time after that, if we're having family time, I'm available. But even her entire family understands the routines of what we do and how it works because that's how the whole thing works from that. So in communication, I would say, get your family on your side, explain it to them, have them support you and understand it. And if they do, you'll actually get a lot farther in business.
I agree. I've had agents that unfortunately in and out of the business, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the family doesn't understand what they're doing. I think a lot of people think that the insurance business is almost like what's a good word? It's almost like a set, not a setback. It's like man, I just
It's
can't
not a
think of the
real
word.
job.
Yeah,
Like it's
it's
a real
not. Yeah,
job.
they don't look at it as like a real job. Like, oh, this is just what he's doing for the time being to make money until he finds another job. Or I might talk to someone and recruit them, and they go and talk to their families. Like, really, you're not making any kind of salary? There's no benefits. What are you going to do? Like, so basically, you go out and work and you make sales, but if you don't make any sales, you're not going to make any money. That's not going to be consistent. How are you going to be able to survive? So I think again, I think a lot of times it's people maybe that just don't understand the business that this is a business you can make a lot of money.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you got to be willing to again, you got to be willing to put that time in. You got to bet on yourself, and you got to know going in that. I mean, if you do everything that's necessary to succeed, and you follow those that are willing to help you and support you, you're going to end up making a lot more than that 9 to 5 salary position. To me, I mean, when I left my employee role with my prior company, I had places reaching out to me, offering me salary positions for well over 100,000 and, close to 200, maybe even a little bit more than that. And, I kind of looked at it as well. I could do that. I could take on that role and I could have those benefits. But to me, that's limiting my potential to that role and to that income. Where the role that I'm in now, I can be the one who decides that. I can decide how much money I want to make this year, next year, for the rest of my career, without anybody telling me that this is what you're going to make this year. So that's what I like about our business. I mean, we can bet on ourselves, but I'm the one who can decide my income. And if it doesn't work out, well, it's my fault.
Yeah.
I got to put the time in and be willing to do what I can to make it happen.
Yeah, I even told you at that point in time, I was like, I feel like if you're really gonna just go do that thing, just keep doing this thing because this thing and that thing aren't that much different, and you could make more than that. Like someone's offering you $250,000 a year. It's amazing. You can make more than that. So
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing, or do you, but don't do the same thing. You get the point. Like, you bet on yourself, like Adam bet on his self, and you get a lot farther in this career, which is number 3 on the list of how to close this year strong is investing. I don't think enough agents realize that the more money they spend on leads, the easier this business becomes. And conversely, or on the same token, the more time you spend in the field, the more opportunities you get and the more business you write. And a lot of the struggles that we put ourselves through in business are self-inflicted struggles. Like, tell me in your personal experience, the biggest weeks of your career, was it because you had a boatload of leads or just a lot of good luck?
It's because I had a ton of leads. For sure. I wouldn't really say maybe a whole lot of luck. It was more I had a lot of people to see. And, I kick myself in the butt when I do things that I shouldn't be doing. I had a whole bunch of direct mail leads come in, and yeah, I was writing a lot of premium. I did a training a few months back talking about how I wrote almost 12,000 in premium in 3 days. And it's because I had those leads coming in. And then sometimes I wouldn't say I got comfortable. It was more, I needed more leads and I hadn't placed an order. So then I started ordering other leads, like Facebook leads, where I can get those leads quickly. Because of course you want to kind of keep things moving. You always want to have that the leads lined up of people to see. But again, I mean, it's like, they were cheaper than the direct mail, but in the end, I feel like they ended up costing me more because I'm not getting in front of nearly as many of them and they're further apart. Time is money. I'm not seeing nearly as many people throughout the day. When I had that steady flow of the direct mail all within like one area, I mean, I would have one appointment and then I'd have another one right after that and then one right after that. I mean, I was able to work easy 7 to 8 appointments easy every single day, where with the Facebook where they're spread out, it's much harder to do that. So, and again, it's a learning experience. I know better, and I shouldn't have done it, and I did it. Uh, and it's like, even though I know that I need to be doing something, sometimes unfortunately I just tend to maybe take the easy route when I know it probably wasn't the right route to take.
Have one of my points down here, and I don't know where it is at this moment, but it's like recognizing, there it is, that we're all human, that we all make mistakes, and the best mistakes you make, you can learn from. The worst mistakes you make are the ones you continue to repeat. And there it is, that you can be courageous in the face of challenges. Like, business is hard, and you signed up for hard, even if you didn't know it. We're all smarter together, and be tolerant of folks and recognizing we all make mistakes. Even Adam makes mistakes in agency management. I make mistakes. People make mistakes, but very rarely are they intentional mistakes meant to hurt the person it's happening to. Like, we're all too busy for that, to be honest. And if somebody is busy enough to be able to be hurting you, find someone else to work with. Adam, I feel like you told this story before, and I could be hallucinating, where you were buying the house you live in now, and you knew you needed to make a certain amount of money to pay a certain deposit. Was that your story, or am I making this one up?
Yeah, that was me.
And that has a lot to do with investing too, and the everything in between part, and what this business can do for the people that do it. Can you tell that tale for us real quickly?
This was back in what, 2018, the fall of 2018. Uh, I was running the agency, the region, I guess you could say, with my prior company. I had built it up. I had a lot of agents that were writing business. I wasn't out in the field really much at all at the time. I knew the money that I had coming in. At the time, I really didn't have a whole lot of money saved. kind of making as much as I needed to cover everything that needed to be covered. We had actually just gotten back from a trip, my wife and I. We were in Florida for a week with her family, and then we spent 3 days in Key West after that. And then, so just, spent a ton of money. We got home and she's like, let's go look at houses. I'm like, what are you talking about? We are in no position to buy a house right now. She's like, well, let's just go look. There's a open house that I saw. Let's go look and let's just take a look and see, maybe it'll just kind of get you remotivated to, so we can work towards something. And I was like, okay, fine. Let's go ahead and do it. And so we went out to look at some houses. I actually got like on the realtor.com app on my phone, I think, and just kind of started looking around and to see what else was out there. Found the neighborhood where we ended up building a house. Found the neighborhood, really nice houses, walked in a model, really liked it, ended up getting connected with the builder, and still didn't really think that that it was going to be the time to do it. But we started talking to the builder, and I told him, like I don't have like a lot to put down. He's like, well, we can just kind of work that out. We can kind of give you deadlines, and I can just let you know how much money I need by this date, how much money I need by the next date, and just kind of go from there. I think total I needed to put down like at least like 25,000 was like the minimum. And again, I didn't have an extra 25 grand laying around. So that's when I decided, well, heck, I'm going to get back out. I already have the income coming in, the money coming in from my agents that are kind of out there working. And I'm just going to take a little bit of time away to get back out in the field and write some business. And yeah. And then I kind of figured it out. This is how much money I need to make by this date. This is how I'm going to do it. Kind of going back to talking to existing policyholders, started working leads again. And just again, kind of having that mindset. I just got to, failure never crossed my mind. I knew going in that I had to make it happen. I never thought once of like, what's going to happen if I can't meet this deadline? It didn't even cross my mind because I couldn't have any doubts. And in the end, I ended up making it happen. And I'm fortunate that it did, because especially the way things are these days with the costs of houses, with the high interest rates. We would have been stuck if I would have put it off and not done it right then and there. If I wouldn't just bet on myself, I really don't know where we'd be today. We had another child. He's 4 years old now. We would have ran out of room in our townhome. So, things worked out great the way that they did. But like I said, had I not made that move or bet on myself 5 years ago, I don't know what would have happened.
I think I have an agent that can tell a similar story. He had a repair that needed to be done in the house. Hot water heater went, needed to be replaced. One of those, you got to be kidding me, $8,000 to $10,000 bills that just have to be done. And he was telling the story about any other person in any other job would have had to put it on a credit card, take out a loan, finance it over 3 or 4 years. And all that he did was see an achievable goal, see something that had to be done. It was measurable, and then make it happen. Work an extra hour each day, start a little sooner, call a few more clients, buy a few more leads, and make that kind of thing happen. Like, it's doable. Maybe it's a house, maybe it's a hot water heater, maybe it's a new car or clearing a credit card. I think if people would set these achievable goals for themselves, these micro moments, they'd be able to go from one step to the next. And even when you figured out the presentation, you need to close the sale and it gets kind of boring, give yourself an achievable goal to reach. And especially towards the end of the year, maybe you say to yourself, I want to write 25K by December 25th, and take a few days, not the half the month. Didn't work well for me. Don't do it. Take a few days off if you hit this goal, or buy a bag that you want, go on a trip that you want. Those micro goals can make such a big difference once you figured out the basics of this career. Adam, I have another tip on here and only a few percent left of battery life after all of our content today. So hopefully we've got about 5 more minutes to go. It's go for no. Like, a lot of agents think to themselves, man, I'll just be so nice. They'll let me in the home next week, next month, next day. They said they want to wait till next year. I'll come back next year. go for no, because the more no's you find in the week, the more business you'll write as well. What are your thoughts on going for no in our business?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you get a lot of no's, that means you're going to be getting some yeses too. And it's a numbers game. I mean, the more people you see, the more sales that you're going to make. We did our training, our podcast talking about overcoming objections earlier today and a little bit last week, where we talked about figuring out ways to maybe overcome some things to get more yeses. And I mean, that's the thing, really. I mean, it's a numbers game. You want to write as much as you can. You want to, turn some of those no's into yeses. And I mean, heck, if you could write one more piece of business a week, I mean, just think, just one extra app a week. I mean, just talk about how that would improve your income over a year. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that would be, like what, another 40, $50,000 in income just by figuring out one little thing, maybe that could turn some of those, yeah, $43,000, that could turn some of those no's into yeses.
I also think that it's important to recognize that this isn't necessarily easy. And if you're having a difficult time with it, it takes time to develop competency. I have a lot of agents that are relatively new to the Medicare side of what we're doing, and they're seeing new scenarios and new challenges and new plot twists they didn't expect. And I'm telling them the first 25, you're not going to have any idea what you're doing. The first 50, you'll have like a little bit of an understanding. By the time you get to 100, you'll be like, all right, I've seen this before. I've done this before. I've got this before. If you're new on the final expense side, don't expect to know this right away. And Adam, how long do you think it really takes a brand new agent to really develop competency in this business?
I don't think it really takes too long. I mean, maybe a few weeks. Well, honestly, I mean, I would say a few weeks, but it really just depends on that person and their work ethic. And if they're getting out there and seeing people, if they have the leads and they're only getting out there, for a few hours a day, well, then it's going to take them a lot longer. They got to be willing to put that time in. I mean, again, everything to me just kind of goes back to the whole work ethic and putting that time in to get it done. So, but there shouldn't be a whole lot of a learning curve if you're willing to put the time in. And again, I talk about how I like to listen to a lot of different content. I listen to, a whole bunch of different podcasts during the day. I listen to, different audio books. And a brand new agent, heck, I mean, I wish that when I got in the business 21 years ago, I had access to what agents have access to today when it comes
Yeah.
to YouTube and just all the different stuff that's out there to learn. I mean, there shouldn't be much of a learning curve. Everything is there for you if you're willing to put the time in to learn it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I used to listen to CDs in my car back in the day, Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy and Tom Hopkins in different sales audio books and stuff like that. But, I was limited to just when I stopped by a bookstore, I could pick up a new CD. Now it's like you have so much access to all these different things. There shouldn't be much of a learning curve if you're willing to put the time in. Even just generalized selling podcasts. I mean, anything can help.
Yeah, I think the magic number is 100. And I think if you're giving 15 presentations a week, which should be your benchmark, you can reach that 100 presentation mark in 6 weeks. You're talking a month and a half of full time effort. And then at that point, it should all start to really make sense to you. And think about it like this, Adam. When I was new to the final expense business and I searched final expense presentation on YouTube, what did I get? I got some guy in a nice shirt, a button down tie, at a clean table, giving this presentation to somebody that was guaranteed to say yes. Didn't make any sense. It's like
Yeah.
not like I'm in a homes. That's not what they look like. That's not what I look like. That's not going to work. But nowadays, I mean, there's just so much content just on our podcast that wouldn't have existed years ago in this industry. So you have everything you need to be successful in this business if you put the time into the business to make it work.
Yeah, and again, I mean, and there's plenty of support systems out there, whether that's me, whether that's you, whether that's both of us, whether that's other organizations out there. I mean, there's so much that there now that wasn't there in the past of people that are willing to help and support and ask questions, do your own research. If you're an agent out there who's looking for new opportunities, do your own research and see what you can find out about the people that you're wanting to do business with, and see and watch some of their content, watch some of our stuff, see if you think our personalities would mesh well together. And again, that's part of this too. I mean, we're happy to work with agents, and whether they're with us or not, but at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, we more than happy as many people that want to join us. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to help and support and train. We talk about wanting agents to have a long-term career in the business, and that's what we're here to do, to help with.
Before we go today, I want to close with this. Obviously, like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, however you're on with us today. But Adam, we had this conversation over the course of the last 7 days. In our final 4 minutes, talk to me about the dangers of negativity. I think it's so pernicious in situations where you don't even see that it's happening. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on how dangerous negativity can be.
I think that the people that we surround ourselves around is a big part of it. I think that we want to be surrounded by people that are like-minded, people that are supportive, people that are positive. Uh, I think that a lot of the people that we communicate with or that we talk to are in the same boat as we are. What I mean by that, even like people that I live around, very, very similar when it comes to ages and income. Back in the day, the group of people I'd hang out with is probably a lot different than the people that I hang out with today. But I think so much of it, the people that we hang out with the similar personalities, I mean, it all kind of uh, meshes well together, I guess you could say. Our personalities, uh, if you're surrounding yourself around people that are negative, it's going to rub off on you. And to me, then you start thinking too much about the what ifs. What if this doesn't work? What if I am not going to figure out how to make money, pay for this or pay for that and everything else? Most successful people out there, they don't have those doubts in their mind. They know that it's going to work, and they're going to figure out ways to make it happen. And so that's what I would say, is just surround yourself around people that are positive, that have a good mindset and are wanting to be successful in their career, whether that's the same career as yours or not. Don't let people bring you down. And again, I mean, that's really the best way I guess I could say to put it when it comes to just being positive and having a good mindset. It's just, so much of it just around the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. And again, think about stuff that you're grateful for. That, heck, if you're having a bad day out in the field, I mean, you got to figure out a way to snap out of it real fast. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to, again, I mean, I get down on myself. So it's just a matter of figuring out ways to snap out of that, to get back in the right mindset to move forward.
Yeah, I think that we are who we surround ourselves with. We're probably the 10 people we spend the most time with. Do an audit of the people you spend the time with, and you'd be surprised what you find out because of that. And you have great capacity to do great things if you put yourself around at least half great people. But be careful about who you allow into your head, because it can become quite contagious very quickly. Before we go, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Adam, let people know how they can find us if they want to hear content on a regular basis outside of this mechanism. Then we'll go out there and finish our Monday in the business.
Again, I mean, if you're listening on our podcast, well, you can also find us on YouTube. I also have my weekly trainings. Now on YouTube, you can find us, Adam Bursan, my name. I have my own YouTube channel, as well as the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between YouTube channel that Chris runs. And then my weekly trainings, they're broadcast all over the place. 10 a.m. every Monday morning. You can find it on my LinkedIn, on my Adam Bursan Incorporated Facebook page, on the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between page. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can find us. Like I said, I mean, heck, I wish that I had stuff like this when I was younger in the business, to learn from people that knew the business, that were willing to help and support. And I'm glad that we are kind of able to pass that along to people that are maybe new to the business now. So yeah, feel free every Monday, hop on. And if you go to my website, either adambursan.com or unitylifegroup.com, fill in an inquiry if you'd be interested in maybe learning more about us, or if you want to do some business with us. We'd be happy to set up a call and see what we could do to help you.
Take advantage of the final 57 days of the year, the final 8 weeks of the year. Don't pull too far off of your routine. Schedule your time off. Work hard so you can enjoy the time off, but don't take too much time off or you might fall completely off the rails. Adam, thanks for joining me today. Like, comment, and subscribe so you can hear what we bring to you next week as we continue to put content together every single week in this business.